One of the more popular narratives among MMA fans recently is that current active champions are ducking their number one contenders. The champions included in this discussion are John Jones, Alex Pereira, and Merab Dvalishvili. I do not think these three guys are ducking their respective top contenders. I know everything John Jones says probably suggests otherwise, but all he has done, whether it's on purpose or accidentally, has make the fight between him and Tom Aspinall even bigger, to the point that it's perhaps the biggest fight in UFC history. We could talk about John Jones and whether he will fight Tom Aspinall for weeks, honestly. It's the hottest topic in all of MMA right now. But I am positive this is just a matter of money and that this fight will eventually happen. As for Pereira, I think the narrative of him ducking Ankalaev is an absurd claim. Poatan has defeated two former champions in the light heavyweight division this year alone, and he took multiple fights on short notice while dealing with injuries. Ankalaev has an unbeaten record in his last 13 fights. So the UFC should certainly give him a title shot. But remember, Dana White and Hunter Campbell book these fights and have reservations about Ankalaev in a title fight. And that's why that fight has not happened. Pereira has done everything and more that the UFC has asked of him in 2024. So the claim of him ducking an opponent doesn't really add up. This leaves Merab, who has received a lot of criticism for ducking Umar Nurmagomedov, a highly prominent fighter like Sean O'Malley, who has a massive platform promoting this narrative, has not done the champ any favors. But to me, this narrative is nonsense. Look, Merab probably prefers not to fight Umar. It seems like he has a preference given, what he has said publicly. But it's not because he's afraid he won't win. It's because the idea of Umar getting the title opportunity this quickly is insulting to Merab. And rightly so. Merab has beaten four ranked opponents in the bantamweight division. And that is the third most of any UFC active champion. That's behind Pantoja and Bilal Muhammad. And, three of those victories came before he received his title shot. Merab has beaten four former champions in his last 11 fights as well. He had a really hard road to get to the bantamweight, championship and to earn his title shot. So I get where he's coming from. How many wins does Umar have over ranked opponents? One. It's Corey Sandhagen, which was just his most recent fight. And Merab said on his Instagram page, calling out Umar, earn your title shot like the rest of us whose names don't get gifts. That's citing the fact that Umar is Khabib's cousin, and the only reason why he'd be getting a title shot so quickly is because he is Khabib's cousin. Let's not forget that Merab has stated on several occasions that he will fight whoever Dana and Hunter put in front of him. However, fighters like Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley are just bigger names for Merab to fight, and they can help sell pay-per-views. As Daniel Cormier pointed out on the Good Guy, Bad Guy podcast, earlier this week, Merab is not the biggest draw in the promotion, and I think Merab realizes that. Former champions with larger name recognition would help him sell more pay-per-views for his next fight. And they would sell more pay-per-views than Umar would. And, that will make Merab more money in his next fight. And, that's money that he has earned beating four former champions and, working as hard as he did to get this opportunity and to be a champion. And you know what? Why would Merab be afraid of Umar in the first place? Look, I understand Khabib and Islam have dominated their way through the UFC. Umar, to this point, has as well. But that Sambo wrestling style that has overwhelmed their respective opponents over the years, that's not going to overwhelm Marab. He has the same style. He has a Sambo background. Not a lot of these guys in the UFC have that background, and that is why they are so overwhelmed by these Dagestani wrestlers. Maybe Umar has cleaner and more powerful striking than Marab, but Marab is a high volume striker who constantly moves around and has what appears to be the best cardio in the UFC. Marab is the toughest stylistic matchup that, Khabib, Islam, Umar, or Usman have ever faced in their MMA careers. And Marab's not afraid to lose. That narrative needs to stop. The UFC books these fights, not the fighters. This isn't boxing. The business here is a little different. It's a little more organized with Dana and Hunter in charge. Marab will fight Umar. It's inevitable. Whether it's next or not is an entirely different question. But Marab certainly has the right to make a case and do what's best for him financially. He has earned that right. And if we're being honest, despite the fact that Umar is likely ready for a title shot, it is disrespectful to give him the title shot this quickly, considering how long and how difficult Marab's journey to that title shot was. Both of those things can be true. Look at UFC 299. Sean O'Malley fought Chito Vera, and Marab was number one contender. Where was the outrage then? The narrative that champions avoid too many contenders is a dumb one that only casual fans would believe. It needs to be put to rest at this point.